Hello and welcome back to Tyranny. Let's start with speaking with Barrick, because it seems he wants to tell
It is
us
rare enough
something.
that anyone has the opportunity to proclaim an edict, much less break one. How are you holding up, Fatebinder?
I toy with powers greater than my understanding, and yet I don't stop.
At least you are aware of your recklessness. I would be more concerned if the case was otherwise. Take care that you don't exhaust yourself and become worthless to the war effort.
Barrick looks you up and down with appraisal, keeping any conclusions to himself.
What can I do for you?
Would you like to discuss removing your armor? He looks at you for a very long time, his expression as unreadable as ever.
Though we are encouraged to couple and mate within the Legion, I don't consider you one of my cohorts. I think I'll decline.
I wasn't talking about sex.
You weren't? Forgive me, it's been some time since anyone made an advance, and I am long out of practice, as you can see.
He knocks on his iron codpiece with a resounding clank.
Suffice it to say, my armor and I will not be separated for the time being. When the war is over, perhaps Tunon will lend me one of his forge-bound. Until then, here I remain. My armor saved me from the destruction of Stalwart, where thousands of others lost their lives. So you can see why I continue to wear it. For the time being, we will not be separated.
Do you even want it removed? I would not speak of it now, Fatebinder. Please consider the topic closed. As your commander, I am concerned about the state of your uniform. Damn it, you are right to be concerned. My apologies that you needed to pull rank. It was wrong of me to withhold information. I don't need to tell you that this suit of junk is a literal pain in my ass, half broken, smelling of a midden, and perpetually jabbing my side with some Kairos be damned caltrop. These dusty plates may not be up to standard, but they served its favorite well enough on the battlefield, if only to intimidate the enemy. Better for me to endure this condition than to shrink in advantage. Considering that I wore this as I marched across the bones of Stalwart that was, my burden growing heavier with each step, I have no desire to leave it behind. It's a lesson, a reminder, and yes, a prison. But all of those things make it something more. These plates have something of me in them. They are as weak as a bramble patch, as stubborn as a fortress, and hopelessly flawed. At present, removing my armor is not an option. If that ever changes, I suspect the tears will tremble with the impact of my collapsing fortification. What a day that will be. Okay, so I consider the topic closed. Let's see. We have full wrath of the Sages Guild. We have +10 to lore. And magical seal. Seal the darkest magical energy, interrupting them and preventing them from casting spells. So I guess the only thing left right now is broughting back to grave and ash. Where was he? Oh, there's Iron Horse.
Aye.
Okay, let's go straight over here. As I understand, the way of breaking the edict about the last, not lord, but the last ruler of the, how was it? You know, the one we broke by accident, of the Sentinel stand. If you don't have high enough lore to break it yourself, I assume this is where you can use the information we found in the Burning Library. Disturbing news arrived at Ironhearth regarding your conduct at the Burning Library. I will let your report speak for itself, but let it be known that I have misgivings. Ash worries the ends of his beard and looks to you with an air of expectation. First things first, the Edict of Fire is truly over then. I satisfied the terms of Kairos' edict. Cautious wording, if I ever heard it. Be assured, Fatebinder, that your conduct is always under scrutiny. Tunon is not the only Archon with the vested interest in your behavior. I have stayed up nights wondering if the flames of Kairos' wrath might spread out from the library and consume the whole of the tiers. But that is ridiculous. The Overlord would never allow such a fate to befall us. Thank you for putting an old man's fears to rest. I have other questions for you first. What is it you require? Let's talk about Amelia. You have seen her restored to my keeping. She is safe in Ironhearth, and in spite of myself, I am pleased to have her home. He nods and releases a heavy sigh. The tension in his shoulders lifts, if only for a moment. She has taken her quarters and speaks not of what transpired during her long imprisonment. I have instructed her guard to offer space to rest and regain her strength, but so far she keeps to herself. She has not sought her father's counsel either. He frowns at this, deep in thought. Say what you would then. She returned to Ironhearth. Have you not spoken? Not but a short greeting. She took her meager belongings and fled to the castle of instruction that she not be disturbed. She looked well enough. Her armor was in decent repair, and she had only a bundle of clothes salvaged from the keep. Later she summoned a trusted compiler who reported in condition as fair. The Archon's eyes widened, his face taking on a deathly pallor. I cannot... Ash squeezes his eyes shut and shakes his head vigorously. No, the idea repulses me beyond all measure. And you, Fatebinder, he bursts down on you with madness in his eyes. If you would bring slander and atrocity to this fort, then I will instruct Tunon to strike your head from your lawful neck. Do you hear me? He bellows with such force that spittle wets his beard, and the cohort of the training yard turns with panic in their eyes. Ash cuts off his speech and holds his rigid posture. Throughout the prolonged silence, you aren't sure if he plans on swinging his mace in a wide arc or simply exploding from the tension he fights to repress. A vein rises along the crest of his scalp and slowly recedes as Ash clamps his breathing. Speak no more of these lies. I will have them poisoning the air of Ironhearth and the ears of my fellow countrymen. You are a fool if you think I will believe such an obvious ruse. Ash regards you with uncertainty, his eyes searching for truth or contradiction. She didn't say anything at all about her situation. He holds your gaze with flat, even focus. Ash takes a deep breath through his nose, filling his lungs and swelling his chest until it has expanded significantly in your vision. When he releases the breath, it comes out deflated and resigned by the overlord's mercy. Was there ever a father more blind than me? The bundle, the healer, the sorrowful looks worn by her attending soldiers. His gaze shifts over to one of the windows of his castle, just in time to catch a silhouette stepping back from view. Kairos' flames, but they should hurl her and the cursed creature from the rampart walls. Our family name, the very north, is degraded by her lechery. Ash grabs at his face and howls into his hands. In time, he could learn to forgive her. No, that is not possible, Fatebinder. When I look in her eyes, I will see only the vileness that she invited in her heart, the deception that her captors inflicted to twist my daughter into the disgrace she has become. The wretched girl is still a member of my legion, but she has broken our bond as surely as if she had killed me. I have lost my daughter, and she must learn to endure a general in her father's place. In spite of my temperament, you have done as I asked. Amelia is returned. The edict is ended. Perhaps I am too quick to blame you for the failings of my once noble house. I returned from the burning library. Then the Scarlet Chorus has been ousted from the contested lands, and the forbidden knowledge wrenched from their grasp. Tell me more. Marek is well and in the contested lands. Good. He can help maintain the peace and ensure that the wisdom of the sages fall into no undeserving hands. Do you have anything else to report? I killed the censor and her gang. The tears will not miss another blows on her blood of vermin, and neither will I. Good work. I honestly don't want to tell you that I have the sound archive. Where's the another option? Thank you, it's all. I have the sound archive. You, Fatebinder, I tasked you with keeping the archive away from prying eyes, not claiming it yourself. Surely you can help but recognize this as a breach of Harris's law. I need the knowledge of the archive in order to conduct this war. Forbidden knowledge that Kara's decreed no one should have the freedom to access? I think not, Fatebinder. You would do just as well with honest combat and good sense on your side. Have you anything else to report? That's all. What are our next steps? Our advantage against our enemy grows, and we cannot miss an opportunity to strike a decisive victory against the Archon of Secrets. You have been an asset of unsurpassed value, but there is more still to be done. Now that we have two regions under our control, the disfavor's presence is felt almost throughout all of the tiers. This is as strong as we've ever been. Ash gives you a determined nod, but there's something behind it that takes you by surprise. Then you notice that he's gone pale, his eyes unfocused. The Archon shakes his head and collects himself. When he shifts his attention to you, you catch a momentary confusion reflected in his gaze, as if he's trying to account for the last several seconds. Elder Ironclad smells like pain, like sickness. The beast woman cocks her head to one side and takes a deep, pausing whiff. She sneers then, her rough mauve tongue sliding over her teeth. Can hunt Archon in times of weakness. Oh, that can be good. Someone with Ash's constitution would never show weakness unless there's something very wrong. General, we await your orders at your leisure. Beric tips his head at the Archon with concern. The time has come for us to gather and descend upon the stone sea, where the voices of Nerat and his gangs have dug their miserable warren. Once we've dealt with the Archon, I plan to melt down his twisted helmet and drop it in the deepest ocean. First, we have to secure a base in the region. That will give us a position of strength to rally our fighters and take the war to the Archon's doorstep. Are you ready? You look pale. Anything I can do to assist? If I look weary, it's because the damnable Archon of Secrets has vexed me for far too long. We are better rid of him, and I won't have you wasting time on issues that don't concern you. He takes several deep breaths and regards you with intensity you haven't seen before. Do you truly think you can defeat the Archon of Secrets? Do you doubt it? I am not naive to the Archon's power. The voices of Nerat uses madness to cloak his brilliance, but never mistake it. He is mad. Cold tactics and a logical approach will always win out against the likes of him. I'm ready. Where do I start? I sent an advanced unit of disfavored forces into the Stone Sea, but the Scarlet Chorus presence in the region has them threatened in the location called Howling Rock. I dispatched a support unit to assist, which you can find at Jagdmoor Shrine. They will need your help clearing a path to Howling Rock. Why does the support unit need my help? A tribe of beastmen occupies the region, and they aren't quick to tolerate a human element in what they imagine to be their territory. They are no concern of mine, so cut down as many as you see fit to complete the mission. Garb yourself in their skins for all that I care. Just get my soldiers through. Beasts are more than capable fighters, and they ripped more than one of our countrymen to shreds during the conquest. Ash has no love lost for the kind. Have Beastwoman's ears dulled, or is Beastwoman hearing sounds of praise from ironclad packmates' lips? She cocks her head to one side, regarding him with a dangerous wolf-met-prey sort interest. But then she spreads her fangs in a wide, sated grin and sits back, scratching lazily across the toned plains of her stomach. Beast from the seas, packmate can't help but to pine for kills in shadow. My airshakers have a plan to blight the land, starving the Scarlet Chorus in their home territory. Offer them any help they need, and see my will dawn upon the voices of Nerat. We are nearly at the end. I can feel the Archon's doom ahead of us like the peace at the end of slaughter. Typical. We are almost there. Fate Binder Evna, forgive me the curtness of this first missive. The matter is too urgent for the luxury of formalities. I know that you braved the flaming ruins of the Vellum Citadel. The archive. Did you find it? Is it safe? Rogalus. Faint by the Rogalus, you seem to possess more than a passing familiarity with the Silent Archive. I thought it was something of a secret. Perhaps an exchange of information is in order. Tell me what you know of it, and I can provide you with its current whereabouts. Fatebinder, you are to report to the Bastard City at once. Be prompt, lest I mistake your tardiness for reluctance. Tunon the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice. Archon Tunon, as your request, I will appear in your court in good time. Probably before this missive arrives. Stone Sea, so there are 2 spires in the Stone Sea. Okay, and yes, we will go to meet Tunon straight away. Oh, okay, good to know that I can select all of you at once. The things we learn at the end of the game. I don't think it's the end, like the Stone Sea. Here's the one spire on the right, one spire on the north. That doesn't matter, we go to the Bastard City. Oh no, it will take us 3 days, so it will arrive before, the message will arrive before we do. Fatebinder Evna, you have me under Mark's blade. I possess only scraps regarding the archive, fragments gleaned from oblique references across a dozen texts. The sages sought a way to preserve all knowledge they collected, yet have it easily accessible to those they felt worthy of their secrets. I have found no reliable references to what solution they eventually settled on, but there certainly exists indications that they implemented something. Several documents intercepted over the years, some as recently as the conquest of the Tears, make reference to sages bearing their discoveries to the Vellum Citadel as tributes to be paid to the Silent Archive. The manner in which they wrote of it, I have expect you to tell me that the archive is a living person, some sage volunteer kept alive, or else in a state very like life. Through the guild's arts of preservation and healing, their mind forcefully filled to its borders with every stroke of ink set to parchment, compelled through sigils of domination to reveal what they know to those bearing secret signs. I enter the realm of speculation, I fear, for we have exhausted what little evidence I have. Keep me in suspense no longer. What became of the archive? Faint by the Rogolos. Unfortunately, I did not find the object of which you speak. Perhaps the overlord's edict reduced it to ashes, or perhaps it never existed at all. I look forward to speaking when I am again in the Bastard City. Excellent, we await your return. Is he here? Lady Mark Rogolos. Fatebinder, you return! Rogolos looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I am feeling generous. No, I don't want to talk to you about any of those things.
You return as summoned, despite the weight of responsibility on your shoulders. The court appreciates your devotion to our good work. It should come as no surprise that your activities are closely monitored. As an extension of Kairos' law in the frontier, your progress is a topic of some interest. I sent you on a mission to bring order to the chaos of this civil war. Not enough time has passed for me to expect any significant progress, but I am curious about your findings all the same. I want to make sure your time outside the court's shadow is being used effectively. I understand that you've made a name for yourself in the ranks of the disfavored. Good. With the confidence of his soldiers, you should have no trouble rooting out corruption or chaos in Graven Ash's elite legion.
I'm happy to be an asset to Kairos' forces, and to pull chaos out by the root.
That is all this court has ever demanded of you. You do well to recall your duties with such exacting precision. You have spent some time on your own recognizance. The efforts of our military and the challenges they face should be no mystery to you. Tell me, are you any closer to determining which of the Archons is at fault for the troubles of this campaign?
I do not have sufficient information to make an informed accusation.
Come now. Your decision does not bind you to an accusation at this time. I only wish to know if you have had success uncovering any evidence of misdeed or malfeasance. If you believe either of the Archons has acted in a manner not befitting their station, give voice to it.
There is no question. The Voices of Norat is guilty of inciting chaos. Although we will deal with him. I believe Graven Ash is the guilty party.
The Archon of War prides himself on his loyalty, and the skilled fighters he trains have turned the tides of this war on a number of occasions. On what grounds do you make this claim?
He seems overly devoted to the soldiers under his command. I believe he would compromise the war for their safety.
Ash is devoted to his troops, but I've never heard it spoken of as a weakness before.
I share your reservations, and there is a precedent to your claims. Ash regards his soldiers as family. This could be a great strength, or a terrible weakness on his part. I look forward to receiving your full report. I will summon you again at the appropriate time. If there's nothing further, you're dismissed.
I have some questions first. Apparently not. I think we'll try to double cross Ash. because with him we'll deal with the voices of Narat. But why not... get rid of him as well? While making your way through the wilderness, you come upon several dense shrubs, liberally dotted with crimson berries. The fruits are plump and ripe again. Okay. You recognize the plant as budding rose, a bush that produces edible berries. There are no aphrodisiac commonly used in local festivals. Unfortunately, they are also mildly toxic to practitioners of magic. Let's offer them to Barak. He's the only one not using magic, really. He eyes the offer the berries suspiciously. Barak tells you that while he appreciates the gesture, he's had bad experiences in the past eating wild berries of the deers. His bronze and iron presented nothing to decrease the unpleasant taste. Okay. You secret the berries away. When you next check on them, you find that they've gone slightly off color and mushy. The smell wafting from the fruit reminds you of a corpse. Deciding you had to make a worthwhile poison, you bottle the juices. The working pulp, and the pouch you stored it in. On the other hand, you discard. Oh, that's better. Dear Fatebinder, I must confess to deep disappointment. I believe that I had accepted the possibility that the archive had been lost to Garrus's flames, but obviously some hope for its preservation lingered still in my breast. Perhaps you think a scholar possessed of a naivete unbefitting his years, but the sages were known to be the foremost practitioners of Tyranny's sigil. If they could find any way to protect the prize of such value, they would have. I suppose Tyranny will have to endure this tragedy, as it has the many that have come before. You are always welcome in our company. Brocos. Please do not bother me. The Stone Sea environment is harsh and unforgiving. Arid plant life is about all that can survive in these parts. This rocky protrusion is magical in origin. As Karen roamed the Stone Sea during the conquest, it was rumored that structures like these were formed in his wake and contained traces of his essence. We learn the sigil of stone. Flesh of stone. Coat enemy in organ earth, petrifying them. This spell is very inaccurate. Stone spike. Draw a dark spike of hard stone from the earth and send it flying towards a foe. Gift of the Golem. Coat the target from head to toe in large earth and slabs of rock. While in this form, movement is restricted but almost greatly increased. Oh, I like this aura. Imbue the target's weapon with the weight and strength of hard stone. Enemies struck by the weapon take additional crush damage and are knocked prone. Critical hits. From a huge stone boulder, then send it hurling forward. The boulder bounces erratically and flattens everything in its path, then crush damage and knocking foes prone. Interrupt, no. Armor penetration, no, please. Intensity. Not enough. It will be enough of this one. Yes. And that's all we could check. Oh, there's another body. It's been a while since the last time we've seen a shop. Fatebinder. The soldier salutes you with the smack of a meaty fist on bronzed armor. Lieutenant Cady is at your service, madam. He drags a thumb, his gauntlet caked with dust and blood, toward the mountain of a man behind him. Won't get him to admit it, but Radix is too. That's Commander's in Iron Core to you, baby brother, and you as well, Fatebinder. The elite Iron Guard cast a steely glance in your direction without offering you a salute. Forgive me if I do not have time to entertain idle pleasantries. We're on the campaign of the highest importance. I am sure you understand. Cady clears his throat with a sound that's half hawking, half deep guff. He slouches in lazy attention, a hand resting comfortably on the hilt of his broad sword. I humbly apologize for the both of us. But if you don't mind me asking, what brought you to these parts, madam? He tips his head to indicate the stone expanse behind him. Sure, she looks pretty, but don't let those peaks fool you. The land's a tangle of danger. I am here on behalf of the court and the disfavored. We must secure the stone sea for the glory of Kairos. So you do come with a purpose. The Iron Guard turns their crushing weight on his attention on you, one strengthened by both magic and the austerity of his resolve. After a moment, the severity of his scrutiny slowly crumbles, and he nods as if to an unspoken decision. I would be a fool to turn down the aid of a Fatebinder, especially one so renowned. I will accept any assistance I can acquire in uniting with my Earthshakers at Howling Rock and defending the fort that they have erected around Kain's remains. What the commander is trying to say is we're beholden to have you, Cadis grants, shooting his brother a pointed look. Greeting to Howling Rock's the easy part, only it hasn't been that easy. We've been waylaid with Kor's forces and beasts that will rend you limb to limb sooner than you can blink. They're bloodthirsty sons of curse, mark my words. I fear neither man nor beast. I'll cut us. I did say I would come to help you, but it doesn't mean I'm willing to battle both Kors and beasts in order to do so. The disfavored lieutenant scratches at the back of his helm, perplexed. Forgive me for saying, but I expected more zeal from you, madame. Any one of my shields would piss on their mother for the chance to fight in Ash's honor. So send them to die for Ash's honor. I have more critical issues to worry about as a Fatebinder. Alpha is right. Pack should be hunting ironclads, not beast women. She licks the tips of her claws, staring longingly at the disfavored soldiers before her. He gives her a sideways stare. Madame, then what did you come here for? Can set you to taking the latrines, madame, should you find it more suitable to one of your invulnerable rank, madame. He bristles, armor clanking as he straightens his stance. Some would find it dangerous to speak to a Fatebinder in such a way. Madame, with all due respect, madame, I'm not sure what you mean, madame. His incorrigible don't enable him. For now, we will leave this discussion unfinished. He nods gruffly. So be it. How can we be of service? Brief me on the Corps troops movements throughout the region. Shit, if there aren't more of them than maggots out here. Can go 2 feet without needing to gouge someone's entrails out. The soldier rubs at the pommel of his sword, edgy. But most of them have swarmed Halfgate, looking for warm bodies. Crude as my brother is, I agree with his assessment. The Corps are rather resemblant to maggots. Sagely inconsequential, yet annoying numerous. Both squish beneath stones of adequate acceleration and mass. He taps his foot in a slow but eager rhythm on the ground, but then stops, setting himself once more into stillness. However, more pressing matters have need of my attention presently. Even Radix likes killing chorus screamers, but he can't stray from the parameters of his post, and I can't stay from him. Your report has been sufficiently informative. I'll be sure to avoid their forces going forward. Glad I could be of service, madam. What exactly are these parts, and how they're dangerous? The Stone Stalkers call this place Jagdmore Shrine on account of the crystal formations. If the beastmen don't kill you, the constant quakes and steep drops of them, well, will. From now, the quakes are of little consequence to an earthshaker, baby brother. It's the foul beasts we must contend most with. And why you are here. The beastmen consider this place to be a sort of shrine. Something about the big elder thief and that ancestors they made it sacred ground to them. Shit if I know or care. The Shakers say it's a place with concentrated magic, and that's about as far as I understood it. Ask him about military stratagem, and he'll light up like a spark of sulfur. But when it comes to alchemy and the arcane, his understanding is fundamental as best. The sight-sizable protrusions of Azraelith exude a temporal resonance on par with a geoentropic elucidation of the purest regularity. So as one could imagine, the area is of particular value in the study of Earth Arcanum and is likely, as well, appealing to those creatures who hold some attachment to the land. Humans know nothing of beastwoman ways. Jagged Moor is hallowed land to Stonestalkers because lands rock are ancient, are jutting and mystic. The beastwoman snorts, amused. What? The lieutenant laughs, loud and long, his sudden exuberance making him seem boyish for his years. Don't worry, madam, you're not the only one. I can see my breath is wasted, Radix sighs, giving up. Not getting along with the locals. Which ones? The starving simpletons of Halfgate who mule their grievances against us to the chorus, or the beasts who nightly crawl the cliffside seeking to flay us alive? What grievances do people of Halfgate have against the Earthshakers? At times the air permits me vibrations of their murmurings. The cretins unilaterally blame us for the region's continued seismic activity, though they are not entirely wrong. Why is the beast tribe in the Stone Sea trying to kill you? Did you know they first welcomed my Earthshakers into these lands? They do tend to hate the disfavored, though, don't they, big brother? Right, they do. But rather than agitated, his voice sounds mirthful from behind his mask, cocky, yet easygoing. We put the fear of ash in them. The Iron Guard presses 2 fingers to his temple, suppressing a sigh. Regardless of the means, the beasts have commenced attacking us, Earthshaker and soldier akin. We had hoped to draw on our common ground as mages of the land, but after first accepting us, they savagely accused us as trespassers and sealers of some nonsensical substance they call elder thief. What exactly are elder thief? It's what the beastmen call Azraelith. They call them such because of their thief-like formations, and the elders in their tribe use them. He shrugs at the old reasoning. We know that they have mystical properties such as amplification of magic, and we are still studying their uses. Kieran himself was fascinated by them. Okay, tell me about the Crystal Azraelith formations. The locals call them Elder Thief. We have been researching their properties, which seem to amplify magic somehow. Kieran was very interested in them, and sought to better understand them before his untimely demise. He looks off in the distance, as though hoping to catch a glimpse of his master. What are you and your squad doing stationed in the middle of the Stone Sea? We're weeks into the escort up of fire and damnation I would say I got the details as punishment, but the general claims he chose me on account of this Turk being my kin. He thinks Radix will listen to me when I tell him he's about to step off a cliff. As if that would happen. He waves a dismissive hand. My brother is a dreamer, though his fantasies are often insipid and ill-devised. We are en route to Howling Rock to bolster our fort and the Earthshakers protecting Cairn's remains. On account of you, I'm skinning beastmen and digging rock spurs from my boots instead of sacking Stalwart. Katie's levels at Iron Guard. If I was going to dream for anything, it would be about leaving this wretched shithole from behind. Cairn, isn't that the Archon who rebelled against Kairos? Fain by their Kallio cast the Edict of Stone in 430 in order to kill him. Precisely, yes. During our primary campaign to conquer Azure, Cairn broke completely from Ash's command, and shortly thereafter, Fain by the Kallio cast the Edict of his execution. The Iron Guard widens and resettles his stance, arms clasped stiffly behind his back. While I devoted myself as Cairn's apprentice for many years, rest assured that as the inheritor of the Earthshakers Guild, I remain steadfast in my service to this favored. Kairos' demand for loyalty is absolute. This I understand well. The Iron Guard taps the heel of his boot against the ground, annoyed, causing pebbles to quake and jump in the near distance around him. I can neither understand nor forgive is why he would choose such filthy savages over his own disciples. By savages, you mean the beastmen? Quite assuredly, for Cairn to risk entire guild on account of such primitive beasts, it is wholly contemptible. Not only did he bring ruin on himself, but he very nearly rained the same on us. Humans have 2 eyes, yep, but always are having trouble looking past the length of our snout. She grunts, clearly cross. And he's not at all full of himself. Katie's laugh good-naturedly. If mages demonstrated more modesty and attention to their tasks, the army might be less severe in doubting their worth. Titles and honorifics are earned, not simply spun up out of a storm of bravado. You're both an Earthshaker and an Iron Guard. How did that come to pass? It was not by choice, I can assure you. I merely desired to study under Cairn's tutelage, but after we pledged our allegiance to Ash, the position was more or less forced upon me. He looks down for a moment before catching himself something. Not that I could resent the position bestowed upon me by the general himself, though I am not one for rank and file as Cairn's protégé. Clearly I was the ideal selection. To be an Iron Guard is to be recognized by Ash personally. The Archon of War loves his soldiers to a woman, but he only grants his favor to those who distinguish themselves. There is no greater honor. The Earthshakers are the arcane arm of Ash's military, correct? An astute observation. Our guild has devoted ourselves to the study of Earth Arcanum, and as such were the disciples of Cairn before his unfortunate end. As his prime and closest pupil, it has befallen to me to inherit Cairn's legacy. He sweeps a brief, stiff salute. I am Radix Ironcore, mover of mountains, Iron Guard to Ash, and second master of the Earthshakers. You too? You're related? That's right, madam. We're brothers born, if not bred. He slaps Radix heartily on the back, the iron underside of his gauntlets resounding like the clang of a funeral bell. We share a mother, much to Radix's regret. My brother, impetuous as he is, likes to rely on brawn and chance as he marches through life. I, however, being elder and of higher intellect, am fortuitous enough to have inherited the core of the land. He says that I'll be the one keeping his head from getting lopped off when we're attacked next. You were raised apart from one another. It's not like he was sent away. On account of him being 12 years older and only apt with magic, he left for Tortaulus to study under Cairn. Katie smacks his brother heartily on the back. Can't say I missed him much. You ever been buried alive, madam? How long ago? I do remember. Mother was quite proud. Not of that incident. She was unreasonably fierce, even though I left you an air hole. He taps the toe of his boot on the ground, though forth slightly as tremors as the earth around him. It was a great honor to study under the icon. You have separate fathers? Who were they? Don't know, the lieutenant shrugs, but it doesn't rightly matter, does it? If it were just our father, this one could have been rid of me. But you can deny the lineage of the womb, nor a woman's inheritance, even if I did choose the front lines over Radek's stodgy guild. That's right. For better or worse, we're indisputably bound by blood, though you wouldn't know it, as Cadiz exhibits only the most minuscule of mother's traits. Turtles, that's in the north, right? Obviously, despite my master's increasingly irrational inclination in his age, Karen was a northerner, same as you and I. The Iron Guard settles his stance, peering silently toward the horizon for a moment before he continues to speak. Turtles is the longest continental mountain range in the Northern Empire. Naturally, it was upon his highest peak that Cairn established an Earthshaker guild, and where I painstakingly accumulated the potential of my abilities. What was it like studying under Cairn? Excruciatingly arduous yet edifying. Do you want me to claim he was like a doting father? I cannot. He was ruthless when he needed to be, and above all, brilliant. He was an archon, and a powerful one at that. If you want to access those heights of power, you have to be dedicated. If you aren't willing to train, you aren't worthy to wield that power. Okay. And I'm going to end this part here. So for now, thank you very much. Stay alive and see you soon. Bye.